Salut tout le monde. Hello everybody. I'm Amira K. Wolf, and we're back again for another episode. I'm actually not too sure what number this episode will be. Either it'll be episode 3 or episode 2.5. I'm undecided right now, so I'll figure that out afterwards. Anyway, I had planned to upload a new video, a new podcast episode every other week, every other Tuesday instead of a weekly thing. So I'm thinking that in between that, if I release anything in between that, it'll be a decimal number. But anyway, I'm still undecided right now, like I said. So anyway, the reason I decided to release this episode is because yesterday, or by the time I release this, it was a Saturday that this happened, but it's nothing bad, mind you. I just kind of wanted to talk about something important to me. So yesterday or Saturday, I was out and about with a good friend of mine. And I was talking to her about my story Insight, and she's been reading it and following it. In fact, she actually plays the voice of Vicky in the audiobook. So I was talking to her about it, and I was actually able to remember something that I had realized a while back. So most of you probably don't know this. Only a few people, I think, know this. But I had actually stopped writing Insight for about a year. It was definitely an entire year. Whether it was a little over that or not, or an exact year, I'm not sure. But it was definitely a year I had stopped writing it. And the reason I had stopped writing it was, in part, I had major writer's block. But part of that writer's block was because I had lost motivation or inspiration to keep writing. When I came back to it, I looked at what I had written, and it needed some updates, obviously, which helped being away from it helped with that. But one of the reasons that I had stopped writing it for so long was because like I said, I had no motivation to write it. Like, there was nothing coming to me. I wasn't sure where I wanted to go with it. There's all these ideas and stuff swirling through my head, and there's a whole other story for why and everything. But anyway, I digress. But one of the reasons why I was unmotivated to write it was because I wasn't writing I had realized at the time, or afterwards, that I wasn't writing Insight because I wasn't writing for me, essentially. Which sounds really selfish, I know. But just hear me out for a second. I wanted to write this book. I really did. But my reasons for writing it weren't truly for myself. It's just my wanting to write it wasn't for me because I wanted to write it necessarily. The reason for me wanting to write it was for somebody else. And that person that I was writing this for, because it was kind of a semi promise to myself kind of thing. It sounds kind of cliche. It sounds like something that I would see in some anime or something. But anyway, so I was writing it, and I had lost motivation because there's a whole backstory to it, and I'm not going to get into that, maybe another time. But all you really need to know is that the person I was writing for, it felt like they had lost interest in the story, or at least that's how it felt to me from my perspective. I can't talk from their perspective because that's them. But from my perspective, it felt like they had lost interest in it, or I wasn't like wasn't really getting the feedback that I wanted from it, because I guess in a way I was searching for their praise or their approval. And when I felt like they weren't invested in it as much as I was, it's like I guess I didn't see a point to really writing it. And from there, the motivation and the inspiration kind of died. And from that, and then that created my writer's block, because anything I wrote felt like I got up to chapter 5, and like an uncompleted chapter 5, and I was writing it, and I had no idea what kind of chapter I wanted it to be. Like, I know I'm still writing it, but there wasn't. It was kind of like a big storm cloud within my mind, and I couldn't get through it. The other thing that I didn't that caused me to not write it was that year there was a few personal things going on, and I was one of the characters in particular was inspired by somebody, and there's a whole kerfuffle, there's a whole drama or whatnot. And I was afraid that if I continued writing that character, then I was afraid that any bitterness or any negative emotions would end up translating into that. And I did not want that to happen. So until I was able to get over that, I didn't want to write that story. So I wrote other things in the meantime. But I also kind of felt bad because I didn't want to keep a story just sitting there for years upon years or whatnot. And I wanted to complete it or complete something. And finally I had this, I don't even know what spawned it, but finally I was able to have this a jolt of inspiration and motivation. And I read over the chapters I had already written, updated them, changed them, and tried to have a clearer understanding for myself of where I wanted this story to go, and to simplify, because it's huge. Like, the ideas and everything were it was so much, it was huge, and my job was basically taking the ideas and weaving something together that made sense in this whole basically universe in this story, so I can somewhat simplify the ideas and everything. So anyway, yeah, and I felt like I was talking to my friend about it, and I feel like I had forgotten somewhere along the line after that, and doing all this stuff with Insight and writing other stories and such, and trying to do YouTube and all these other projects. I think at some point I had forgotten what I had realized. And what I had realized was that and this is just for me personally, this does not mean that you can apply this to everybody. This isn't a copy-paste type of thing. This is an Amira thing. And for me, I realized that I have to write for me. Like, if I'm going to do something, I have to do it because I want to do it, not to please other people. Like, as much as I love writing, and I love it when people are like, oh my gosh, this is really cool and everything. I'm pretty sure most people enjoy that. But if I'm writing, and I love writing, like I've said before, but if I'm writing and I'm only doing it to please other people, and then as soon as something goes wrong, or God forbid, as soon as something goes wrong and someone or a bunch of people don't like it anymore, or for some reason the praise stops or whatnot, then I'll lose that kind of like an attachment. I'll lose that what keeps me going. And that's what happened with Insight a while ago. And I think I lost sight of that realization. And I'm glad I was able to remember it. And it's important to remember those type of things. Like, realize them and try to remember them as best you can. Because I've always had this sense that there's some people out there that they get to a certain point, like they work hard and everything, and not everybody, some people, they work hard and everything, they get to a point, and then they're at a peak or something, and they're on that peak for a long time. I feel like some people, not everybody, forgets how they started, where they came from, what realizations they came to get to that point. And sometimes it's like when adults, forget how they were as a kid. Because it's been so long since they haven't been kids that I feel like some adults forget that their childhood, how they were as a kid and everything. But yeah, anyway, I digress. That was a small tangent I went on. But yeah, so, and that's just for me, and I guess in a way I'm a person who does sometimes seek, at least when it comes to my personal work, not really with anything else. I'm a very goofy person. If you don't like it, well, that's your problem, kind of thing. But when it comes to like my personal works and stuff, I work hard on. I guess I kind of like look for some kind of approval. And which, funny enough, my mom always kind of not scolds me about it, but she always talks to me about it. It's just like, hey, you're good at what you do. Believe, quote unquote, believe it yourself, and you'll be fine. Stop looking for kind of people to tell you that it's good. Know that it's good yourself, and that's important to keep in mind. So I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit. And another thing that kind of has been on my mind lately is that my editor, he kind of brought up a little bit of advice for me because I was kind of feeling down. I wasn't feeling like myself about 2 weeks ago or so. And I was talking to him about some stuff that was on my mind. And he said to me, and this is just paraphrasing, it's not word for word because I don't have it in front of me, but he was basically saying that I should complete the book in its entirety before releasing it to the public, and that if people will like it, they'll come to it. And he's right. But the other thing he said was that basically saying that how I'm doing it now, it kind of feels like I'm searching for praise where there may not be any. And again, he's right. And like, he's right in a way. And that's been on my mind for a bit because I never really thought of it that way. I like doing the chapter per month thing when I can, or yeah, chapter per month, not quotations, parentheses, when I can. It kind of forces me to keep writing and to definitely complete it. And I want to complete it. I will complete it. That's like a promise to myself that I will do it. I don't know how long it will take me or how long this story will actually be, but I will complete it. But the searching for praise part, I had to stop and think a bit about it because I wasn't sure if I actually was searching for it. In my mind, I was like, is that wrong? Is it am I doing it just to get praise or people's approval? Doing all these different things, and I think it's part, like, I don't think that's in its entirety, at least I don't think so, but in part it could be, or like in partially it probably is, but I think it was also the fact I had forgotten a bit of what I had learned on my own, and that somewhere along the line I wasn't entirely writing for myself. Like, I still love writing and I will always love writing. But somewhere along the line, I think I was starting just to write for others to enjoy, or just for, to others to enjoy, just for others, but not entirely for myself. And I think if I change that perspective in my mind, then more of my motivation will come back. Like, of course, I'm still writing because I want other people to see my work and to enjoy it as much as I do and everything. Of course. Right? And no, I don't want to, like, I'm trying really hard not to be too lazy and procrastinate and stuff, because I want to be more disciplined. Try to be more disciplined, at least. And so I will try my best to, like, release stuff on a timely basis and everything, so then other people can enjoy, because how I work will at some point start affecting other people, and that's not, I don't really like that all that much. I don't like it when things I do affect other people in a negative way. So yes, I'm still writing, like, because it's online now and everything, I'm still writing for other people, but I don't want that to be my top priority. I want that when I write, that it's for me. Like, I always will have the quality over quantity mindset, that I will not release a chapter or anything that I personally am not happy with, because you guys deserve better than that. And so I will always have that mindset no matter what, because I'm also a perfectionist. but yeah, but first and foremost, I have to get back to writing, because it's what I definitely want and what I love to do, which I know, but write for me, and then secondary, other people, which I know it does sound really self-centered and selfish. At least that's how I perceive it. I don't know how you guys might perceive it. You might say it like that it's okay, or I don't know what you guys might say, but you might say the opposite to me. But to me, it does sound kind of selfish. But if that brings you guys quality quality work, then I guess it's a win-win. Anyway, either way, I just, wanted to be a little serious for a moment and just talk to you guys about that's going through my crazy mind. Yeah. On a small side note / tangent, though, I went to see Valerian that same yesterday / Saturday with my friend, and I have a few thoughts on that. But because I want to keep this episode short, I'll talk to you guys about that in either the next. I'll talk to you guys at some point about it, hopefully soon, and hopefully I'll talk to you guys about it with a guest. So yeah, I guess that's all I really wanted to talk about. You probably noticed that I changed up the intro a bit. I'm trying out, probably gonna try out a few different ones to see what sticks and what I like most, but yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys like this little in-between tangent thing. I'll still figure out what I'm going to call this or what episode number I'm going to give it. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. You can follow me on the social media links that are probably going to be in the description below and or on the screen somewhere at some point. And of course, please thank Kitsune Yagami for the awesome chibi art he did. And yeah, anyway, I hope you have a good night. Well, it's the nighttime here. And or have a good morning. And you guys are great. So I'll talk to you guys next time. Ciao, ciao.